Already serving a life sentence in Sarasota County for a violent home invasion attack there, now a murder conviction for the man accused of terrorizing women across the Suncoast 2 years ago. SNN local news reporter Jim Spivak has been in court since this morning through closing arguments, and just hours later, a verdict. He joins us now live with the latest.
Well, Lena, the jury deliberated for only 2.5 hours earlier today, and now 41-year-old Delmer Smith knows his fate in his murder trial of Kathleen Briles.
The defendant is guilty of murder in the first degree.
And with that, Delmer Smith is now a convicted murderer in the first degree for killing Kathleen Briles in 2009. During closing arguments, prosecutor Suzanne O'Donnell recounted the way Smith killed his victim.
And carries the sewing machine across the house and slams it into her head.
After the verdict was read, Manatee Sheriff Brad Stubbe spoke on behalf of the Briles family as they requested their privacy.
This was a collaboration between the Sarasota County law enforcement agencies and the Manatee County law enforcement agencies. Obviously, you know the crimes that took place down there and here. And with our state attorney's office, I think that it was a just verdict today.
The jury heard recorded jail phone conversations one more time Smith had with a girlfriend instructing her to remove items from a storage locker, things later to be found as property of the Briles family.
So take all the bags and then listen, I got something inside of one of the bags you need to get out. So you need to take care of it tomorrow. It's very important, okay?
As in the case of many defenses involving circumstantial evidence, defense attorney Daniel Hernandez discredited witnesses and the lack of physical evidence.
The murderer left no forensic evidence behind, no DNA, no fingerprints.
The fact that Kathleen was murdered was never in dispute by either side in this case. The only point of contention was Delmer Smith the killer. That question was answered Thursday by a jury of 12 beyond a reasonable doubt. And Lena, it's interesting to note that this is now the second high-profile case in this area this year where the prosecution was able to get a murder one conviction without any physical evidence. Of course, the first being Sean Tyson, the teenager convicted of killing the 2 British tourists earlier this year, and now Delmer Smith again, the state being able to get that murder one conviction without any physical evidence, with all circumstantial evidence. Lena?
Okay, and then in terms of the sentence in this case, a lot of talk about a possible death penalty case.
Sure. The judge ordered the jurors to come back early Tuesday morning for more deliberation, and then the jury will give the judge their recommendation. Now, it's important to note that the state is adamant that they want the death penalty for Delmer Smith, but we won't have that answer until the beginning to middle of next week. Lena?
And Jim, as you mentioned about an hour ago, you know, Delmer Smith, not a stranger here to the criminal justice system.
I'm sorry, Lena, can you say that again?
Delmer Smith, his criminal background, it's quite extensive.
It's very extensive. He served 15 years in federal prison already, getting out in 2008. He's linked in at least 11 other home invasions. He's a main suspect in the murder of another woman, and he's already serving a life sentence for a violent home invasion that he was sentenced to earlier this year that happened back in 2009. So, of course, he is no stranger to the justice system here. Lena?